We are about to be broke. 80% of our country makes less than $157,000. 80% of our country. Y'all make me so mad because y'all was so stupid to vote for this shit, and we're all about to be broke.
In case you did not know, red states are in financial trouble.
Tariffs are having a real impact right here in the Treasure State, with farmers and ranchers feeling it firsthand.
Well, the state of Nebraska, the governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year.
What up, my beautiful black people? Welcome to Black People Politics Network. I'm Mr. Red. You know, it never fails when folks vote out of hate. They always end up hurting themselves. And now, MAGA states are learning this lesson the hard way. They voted for Trump thinking that he'd fight for them, but all they got was tariffs, budget deficits, higher taxes, and farms on the brink of collapse. Now that's what I call FAFO politics. Today I intend to show you how farms in states that voted for Trump are now experiencing some of the worst economic conditions that is going to affect all of their people. They are definitely in one of the worst FAFO moments, and it's only going to get worse for them. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
If you make between $360,000 and $914,000, your taxes will decrease by $7,160. And if you're in the top 1%, the richest people in the world making over $900,000, your taxes will decrease by $36,320. I can't afford that. I don't know 80% of this country that can afford that. They're trying to dry us out. I hate everybody that voted for him.
Now, first, I wanted to start off with taxes, and I think that this is important to realize. All of the wealth, all of your tax dollars, MAGA, when y'all say, hey, my taxes pay for this, I want you to know that this permanent tax cut bill, how you call it tax cut, it is a tax cut, but this permanent tax bill is a tax on poor people. Yes, all of the wealth is going up, and this has never helped poor people. Reagan did it. Bush did it. They say that if we give taxes to the rich, they're going to help the poor. Let me ask you a question. Are you rich now? Is the conditions of your life better than it's ever been? And now Trump has made these tax cuts permanent. Even under Joe Biden, these were Trump's tax cuts that he made permanent. The so-called big beautiful bill. The wealthy elites walk away with the spoils, while working people, many of them in MAGA country, are left paying more. They didn't care when it was black folks wanting them, but now it's their own wallets that's being raided by their God King.
This one is about the red state of Idaho that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Idaho is asking its agencies to cut expenses by 3%. So yes, you are now still paying the same federal taxes that you were paying before Trump, but worse, now our social programs and our protections that were in place, those are all cut. You're paying the same money. And no, there was not tax cuts for you. And then not only in addition, now Idaho wants agencies to cut back on 3% of your services, Idaho. And you're going to pay the same taxes. And also, in addition, you now pay a tax on goods that you buy for almost everything. Anywhere from 10 to 147% tariff tax. Wow, Idaho, this is a doozy.
Now, Idaho voters, they thought that Trump was their savior. Instead, they're realizing that the math don't math. They are still paying full taxes while the billionaires skate by. That's the trick. Trump's America First was never about them. It was about him, his friends, and the corporations. Black people tried to warn you of this, but again, people allowed their personal feelings to get in the way of sound economic judgment, and now we're all going to pay for it.
Tariffs are having a real impact right here in the Treasure State, with farmers and ranchers feeling it firsthand. Food systems moving out of the country, prices on food and tools going up, and broken trade relations are just a handful of the issues.
Nobody wants to do business with us, whether it's Japan, Australia, Europe, Paraguay, anybody. They don't want to do business with us because they have no idea what's going to happen. It doesn't make any good business sense.
A talking point was the impact tariffs have on the mental health of farmers. An expert said it's causing more stress. According to some estimates, farmers have a suicide rate as high as 3 times the national average.
Farmers and ranchers have the highest incident of suicide of any occupation in the nation. That's pretty serious.
It's not just Montana farmers feeling the pressure. Data from Bloomberg shows 173 small farms across the country have filed for bankruptcy since President Trump took office.
Price is going to go up from moving outside the country, and the price is going to go up for increased labor costs, and the price is going to go up because of tariffs. So good high quality food is going to become food of the rich.
Now, Montana went for Trump by 20 points. 20 points. And now their farmers are desperate. Suicides are up. Small farms are collapsing. And trade partners, they're gone. Nobody wants to do business with people who do business with Trump. Because it only means that they're going to get screwed over. It only means that if they voted for Trump, that they aren't smart business people anyway. Trump broke their livelihood with tariffs he never had a plan for, nor did Trump ever understand what tariffs are and that they're attacks on people. Hate blinded them. And now they're going to pay with their lives.
Well, the state of Nebraska, their governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year. They had over a $2 billion contract with the Chinese government to export soybeans to China. Well, out of that $2 billion, they've canceled all the contracts. So out of that $2 billion, $350 million was state revenue taxes. They're not getting any of that. And the governor also goes on to say that because the migrant farmers weren't able to work in Nebraska this summer, that those people didn't pay their taxes either. And the farmers who already have crops in the ground, folks, they've already spent their money. They're going to need help too because they're not getting any money from the contracts anymore. So Nebraska is the first state. And when you look at the Midwest, you're probably looking at Kansas, you're looking at Iowa, South Dakota, all of those places that are large exporters of grains to China and depend on migrant farm labor. They're not going to be able to pay their bills either. So here's the first one to fall. But of course, as we do know, a certain person in a certain house in Washington, D.C. at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, they know all about bankruptcy. I'm sure they'll be able to help.
And now we come to Nebraska. Their own governor is out here with his hand out, begging Trump for a bailout because tariffs gutted the economy. This is the same state that cheered Trump's tough talk, that celebrated when he attacked immigrants, the very workers who keep their farms alive. They voted for cruelty, and now they're drowning in the consequences. And I, for one, don't feel sorry for not one of these states, not unless they are willing to make a dramatic shift in the way that they think. But, I'm not about to hold my breath for that shit.
A large percentage of the people that I know that support the unmentionable game show host, what they admire about him is that he doesn't seem chained to some kind of political correctness, and it makes him seem like a maverick. That people somehow feel comfortable enough to cheer and laugh when Donald Trump is mocking somebody by calling them Pocahontas, right? We're gonna get the leaders in this life that we deserve, and if we walk around and we think that stuff is funny, if our elected officials aren't, demanding ethical higher ground, then we're in a very dangerous place. And I find that kind of jingoistic hate to be terrifying because history shows it's always the easy way. Whenever we're upset and whenever we're angry, if somebody gives us a chance to express our anger, it feels good temporarily because it feels like a place to put your rage. What it usually does is, create a cycle of violence.
And Ethan Hawke, he nailed it. How could they? How could millions look past Trump's corruption, his racism, his lies, and then vote for him anyway? This is something that we just don't understand as black people because it looks clear and plain as day to us. But the truth is, they didn't vote for jobs. They didn't vote for family values. They voted for hate. And now the hate is a boomerang back on them. That's FAFO. Trump can't do this alone. He only thrives because Republicans and MAGA voters let him. If they fought Trump as half as hard as they fight Democrats or trying to own the libs, we wouldn't be here. So let's be clear. Trump doesn't care about them, and he damn sure doesn't care about us. But the longer that they stay blind, the more all of us will pay the ultimate price. Bye-bye democracy. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.